Hi, good morning, my wonderful seniors. I hope everyone is okay and everyone's doing what they need to be doing and washing their hands and drinking fluids. Um, I wanted to come on a little bit and talk to you about what's expected of you. I don't have a lot of people coming on and checking, which is problematic. I told you guys a bunch of times before we left that you guys need to be checking Google Classroom and coming on and making sure you get the work done. There's work that has been posted since about Wednesday, and I have maybe about a handful of you guys who have hand stuff in. So I just want to make sure that you guys are on top of this because I'm going to move forward and I've been directed to make sure that I put stuff in the grade book. All right. So we are still conducting school in this manner. I know it's not ideal, but we are still doing it. That being said, I just posted assignments for chapter 12. You guys have a couple things to do. You're going to read chapter 12 in Brave New World. I'm going to attach with this video the read aloud video for YouTube so you guys can do that. I also attached a hyperdoc, right? So I've done a lot of this in my other classes. I don't think we've done a lot of this in this class, but I'll explain it briefly if you haven't ever heard of it. It's just a shared document that you guys can kind of jump on and ask any questions and answer other people's questions. So here's why I'm doing this. The book is complicated, right? It's not super easy. I'm not here in front of you to ask and answer questions in live time. So if you have a question, go on the hyperdoc and ask it with your name next to it or before it. And then what I would like to do is first is if other classmates can hop on and maybe answer those questions for you, practicing thinking critically and things like that, and then I'll monitor it, and if there's anything they can't answer and I will answer those questions for you as well. So that's the first thing I want you to do is to get on that hyperdoc. There's also a research article on a sobriety pill, just like with the scientific articles we've been doing. So you need to complete that. I made a copy for each person, so you should be able to annotate by either making a comment or if you want to open up Cami, that's up to you if you know how to do that. Make sure you turn that in. There's also chapter 12 questions, and there's also a assignment for the rhyme that Helmholtz speaks in chapter 12 as well. So you have a couple of assignments that you need to turn in. All of those assignments are due by 7 a.m. on Monday morning, right? So you need to plan accordingly today and over the weekend to get those things done. If it's later than 7 a.m., it is late. I am going to read the rhyme to you so that you can hear it a little bit and understand the context. But before I do that, I want to go over a couple of things. We're kind of in uncharted territory in terms of turning things in and handing things in. You guys have to be very proactive. You're all seniors. Majority of you, a lot of you are going to college. Others of you are going to be working. Whatever you're going to be doing next year, you need to practice being proactive, right? So this is actually kind of a perfect time. I'm not there in front of you to make sure you're doing everything all the time in real time, bugging you, annoying you, asking you 5 million questions, telling you to put your phones down, right? All of those things. So if something is not working, right, of course, email me, but I can't always fix it from where I am, right? If something's not working technologically, you have to find another way. So if you can't turn something in on Classroom or something opens and it's not working, you then have to go on a piece of paper and write things down and take a picture and send it to me or make a copy or have a friend send a copy to you. You have to really kind of take control of what's going on here as best we can, right? We're all kind of doing the best we can. I'm recording myself on video for you guys, which is super scary. We're all learning as we're going. I understand that. But at this point, just to say it's not working and not doing it is unacceptable. So you need to kind of think outside the box because next year, when you're in college or at work, that's not going to fly anyway, right? So this is actually a perfect time to practice our independent thinking skills and our skills of being independent just in general. Again, I am here. You can email me if you have questions and concerns. I can try to walk you through stuff, but I can't do as much as I could being next to you. All right. So you have to do everything you possibly can in your power to make sure things are going through on Classroom and make sure you're doing everything you need to be doing. All right. That being said, please turn your stuff in on Classroom. Please do not email me your assignments. I know that sometimes things can be troublesome. Double check that you're hitting the turn in button. So you guys aren't doing that. All right. I saw that during your research paper stuff. Double check, triple check, make sure things went through. Again, this is your grade, right? This is what goes on, and this is next year in college. Like, or when you're working, you're going to have to do this, right? The world right now is at a stop, is at a standstill. And so those of the students that are in college right now are dealing with remote learning for their college. So they're dealing with the same thing. And people who are working are remotely working, a lot of them, right? So this is the perfect time to practice. I'm understanding, but I need you to be a little bit more proactive than maybe you normally would in the classroom, okay? That being said, I hope everyone brought their books home. I told you guys to. I guess I can upload a PDF file of Brave New World on the classroom as well in case we don't have the books. But I wanted to go over chapter 12 a little bit. Not necessarily what's going to happen, but the rhyme. So we know that Linda and we know that John are in this Brave New World, right? And we know that Bernard is feeling very good about himself, right? He has a lot of popularity. Women like him now. Friends want to be around him. So he's changing slightly, and he's kind of really, I guess for lack of a better term, like feeling himself. I don't know, right? So chapter 12 comes in, and he and Helmholtz have an interaction, right? We find out that Helmholtz gets in trouble a little bit, and I want to turn you to the rhyme. So if you have this book, right? If you have this book, it's on page 186. I don't have the other book in front of me, so I'm sorry, but the rhyme should be in italics, right? And kind of formulated like this, okay? So if you can kind of turn to that, and I'll take you through it. So what he says is, Helmholtz and Bernard, basically, they come back together, right? They were not really talking. Helmholtz was not really thrilled with Bernard's change, but they come back together. And again, if you're on this page, this book, page 185, and he says, at their first meeting after the estrangement, Bernard poured out the tale of his miseries and accepted consolation. It was not till some days later that he learned, to his surprise and with a twinge of shame, that he was not the only one who had been in trouble. Helmholtz had also come into conflict with authority. It was over some rhymes, he explained. I was giving my usual course of advanced emotional engineering for third-year students. 12 lectures, of which the 7th is about rhymes, on the use of rhymes in moral propaganda and advertisement, to be precise. I always illustrate my lecture with a lot of technical examples, and this time I thought I'd give them one. One I just written myself. Pure madness, of course, but I couldn't resist it. He laughed. I was curious to see what their reactions would be. Besides, he added more gravely, I wanted to do a bit of propaganda. I was trying to engineer them into feeling as if I'd felt when I wrote the rhymes. Forward, he laughed again. What an outcry there was. The principal had me up and threatened to hand me the immediate sack. I'm a marked man. But what were your rhymes? Bernard asked. They were about being alone. Bernard's eyebrows went up. I'll recite them to you if you like. And Helmholtz began. So remember, in the Brave New World, you're not supposed to be alone, right? You're supposed to be with people, because when you're alone, your thoughts start to go. Especially someone like Helmholtz, right, who's extremely smart, who's better than the average alpha plus, who was born with a kind of a mutation. Bernard was born with a physical mutation, and Helmholtz was born with a mental mutation that makes him smarter than everyone else. So for him to be alone is super dangerous. It's going to destroy the status quo and disrupt the stability. So then he recites the rhyme. Yesterday's committee, sticks but a broken drum, midnight in the city, flutes in a vacuum, shut lips, sleeping faces, every stops machine, the dumb and littered places where crowds have been. All silences rejoice. Weep loudly or low, speak, but with the voice of whom I do not know. Absence, say, of Susan's, absence of Egaria's, arms in respective bosoms, lips in our posteriors, slowly form a presence. And whose? And I ask of what? So absurd in essence that something which is not, nevertheless should populate empty night more solidly than with that which we copulate. Why should it seem so squalidly? Okay? Well, I gave them that as an example, and they reported me to the principal. Bernard then says, I'm not surprised, said Bernard. It's flatly against all their sleep teaching. Remember, they've had at least 250,000 warnings against solitude. Okay, so the first thing is the assignment asks you to look up any words you don't know. There are words in here that you don't know. So I'm assuming you don't know what copulate means, maybe squalid, some other things. So look up those words. It's going to help you. And I want you to, what you're going to do is you're going to look through and figure out what this rhyme is saying, what's it encouraging, and how it goes against all the philosophies of the Brave New World, right, of the world state. And what's the problem here, okay? That's on a separate handout that I gave you that you can kind of write down. This is in the middle of chapter 12, right? So you're going to have to read before that and then read after that. But I wanted to take you through the rhyme a little bit because it can be slightly confusing. yeah, so I just wanted to make sure that you guys understood and heard me read it. You'll also hear the guy on the recording when I put up the read aloud, read it as well, so that might be helpful for you. Okay. Again, any questions, reach out and email me. Please get this work done. I will probably also be posting an optional extra credit. Either it's going to be extra credit or it's going to be a grade to kind of create your own rhyme, which was fun last year. I don't know how much fun it's going to be this year because you can't recite them out loud to each other, but maybe we can figure out a way to share them so you guys can read each other's, which maybe can provide a relief, a nerdy relief, but a relief. I don't know. All right, so I'm going to post this right now, post the read aloud. Please make sure that you get your work done. Again, reach out to me with any questions and concerns you have. And if you know people in the class who are just flat out refusing to get on Classroom because they don't think it's going to count, please tell them that it will. Okay? You all know me at this point, right? So please make sure if I'm getting up at like 5 a.m. to get this stuff done and doing everything I need to do for you and recording my face and putting it on YouTube, right? I need you to get the work done, okay? Because this is not something that everyone wants to be seeing at 9 or 10 in the morning. Trust me. Okay. All right. I want you guys to have a wonderful weekend. Practice social distancing. Wash your hands. And make sure that you are being smart. All right? I miss you guys. I miss being in the classroom. I miss you guys making me laugh. I don't know how long this is going to go for, but this is really hard for me. I don't know how hard it is for you, but it's pretty tough over here. All right? So I miss you guys. Get your work done. Be safe. And we will catch up either Sunday night or Monday. All right? Have a good week.